Welcome to Tibet This Week, where we bring you weekly news edition on His Holiness the Dalai Lama, Tibet and Central Tibetan Administration. Let us look at the headlines first. His Holiness the Dalai Lama attends long life prayer offered by Tapo Monastery and the people of Spiti. Tibetan religious leader dies under the watch of Chinese secret agents in Vietnam. Central Tibetan Administration holds press conference to address his suspicious death. New Tibetan Justice Commissioners and the Auditor General takes oath. Representative Chukki meets head of Zurich Security Department, discusses organizing His Holiness's 90th birthday. Office of Tibet Brussels pushes for stronger support for Tibet. Office of Tibet DC hosts Sino-Tibet Youth Dialogue. 16th Kashag convenes 7th Permanent Strategy Committee meeting. Office of Tibet Brussels attends 8th founding anniversary of Regional U-Tsang Association of Belgium. All-party Indian Parliamentary Forum for Tibet convenes meeting at Samvidhan Sadan, New Delhi. His Holiness the Dalai Lama attended a long life prayer offered by Tapo Monastery and the people of Spiti at Chukki yesterday morning. While addressing the unwavering faith by the people of Spiti in him, His Holiness said that the true meaning of long life prayer lies in maintaining the deep connection with him. Since Buddha's teachings are based on logic and reasoning, His Holiness also advised attendants to study the essence of Buddhist philosophy. Serkong Tenshop Rinpoche of Tapo Monastery and over 1,300 people of Spiti attended the ceremony. Tuku Hungar Doji, a widely respected Tibetan religious leader, philanthropist, and the throne holder of Lungyo Monastery in Gade County of Amdo, Tibet, died in Vietnam on March 28. On March 25, he was arrested from his hotel room in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, through a coordinated operation by local police and Chinese secret agents. He was then transferred to the local public security office on March 28, where he suspiciously passed away the same day, raising serious concerns about cross-border security operation, transnational repression, and human rights violations. While the cause of his arrest and demise still remains unsolved, last year the Chinese government forced Hungar Rinpoche to host the Chinese-appointed Panchen Lama, Genshin Nobu, at his monastery, which she did not comply wholeheartedly. In August 2024, a high-ranking Chinese officials from Shanghai province interrogated him extensively and forced him to provide fingerprints, alleging that he had composed lifelong prayers for His Holiness the Dalai Lama and failed to implement Chinese government policies in his educational work in Kolok, Amdo. These events participated in his disappearance in late September 2024, followed by a period in hiding in Vietnam. Born in 1969 in Tibet's Amdo province, Tugu Hungar Doji was a remarkable Tibetan spiritual leader whose contribution to the preservation of Tibetan identity through education, healthcare, and cultural initiatives remained unwavering till the end. Hungar Rinpoche established a tuition-free vocational school, founded medical clinic to help the underserved communities, and created the excellent Discourse Key Library to safeguard literary treasures. On April 1, the Administrative Office of Lungyo Monastery summoned relevant individuals to be presented with the death certificate of Tugu Hungar Doji, but they forbade the individuals from keeping the document or taking photographs. The confirmation of Tugu's sudden demise is a stark representation of China's ongoing campaign of repression against Tibetan religious and cultural leaders, a deliberate attempt at silencing voices demanding for basic fundamental rights for Tibetans inside Tibet. On Tuesday this week, in response to Hungar Rinpoche's suspicious death, the Department of Information and International Relations, Central Tibetan Administration, held a press conference at Thapas Ring Hall, inviting Ju Tengyong, director of the Amnya Machi Institute, and Tsongshe Dese from Döme Choga Association. Tenzin Lekshe, Central Tibetan Administration spokesperson, who also led the press conference, strongly condemned the Chinese government's role in the death of Tugu Hungar Doji, calling for accountability and intervention.
For the international community, yes, it's a matter of a suspicious death, but which is a cause of concern for all the Tibetans. And since all the Tibetan prominent figures and personalities are being targeted, therefore they should have, we condemn that, right? And also try to investigate the mysterious death where the Vietnamese government and the Chinese governments are accountable for, right?
During the press conference, the speakers strongly appealed for an independent and transparent investigation into Hungar Rinpoche's death, the immediate release of his body to Lungyo Monastery to perform proper Buddhist rites, and accountability from both the Vietnamese and Chinese authorities for the detention and suspicious death. On Monday this week, former Tibetan parliamentarian Dawa Phungi, former Kalyan Phakwa Tsiring, and the former Secretary of the Auditor General took their oath of office today in front of Yishu Wangmo, the Chief Justice Commissioner. The ceremony was graced by Speaker Kempus Nam Tempe, Sigom Pemba Tsiring, Deputy Speaker Doma Tsiring Tekhang, Kalyan and Secretary of all the departments. Last Thursday, Representative Chukki of the Tibet Bureau Geneva met with Honorable Mario Feher, the head of Department of Security, Government Council of Zurich, to discuss preparations for His Holiness the Dalai Lama's upcoming 90th birthday and other Tibet-related initiatives. As a souvenir, Chukki presented the German edition of His Holiness's latest book, Voice for the Voiceless. Representative Chukki also attended a book launch event organized by the Gandhe Potang Foundation of the Dalai Lama the evening before. On Wednesday this week, Representative Rinzin Kekhang and European Union Advocacy Officer Thinley of the Office of Tibet, Brussels, met with members of the European Parliament to draw urgent attention to the worsening situation inside Tibet and to call for greater European support in advocating for the rights and freedom of the Tibetan people. The Tibetan delegation communicated a wide range of urgent issues related to Tibet, including the sudden death of prominent Tibetan religious leader Tugo Hunga Doji in Vietnam, and shared copies of the press release issued by the CTA, stressed the importance of strengthening international support as China tightens its grip on Tibet, and urged the member of European Parliament to take concrete action in support of Tibet using all available tools. The members of the Parliament reaffirmed their commitment to raising Tibet in parliamentary debates, diplomatic engagements, and all avenues. On March 28, the Office of Tibet DC hosted a Sino-Tibet youth interaction at the Northern California Tibetan Association Community Center in California, United States. The speakers at the conference included prominent Chinese democracy advocates Fang Tin, Tru Fongsu, along with Ginger Duan, a member of an online platform named Chinese Youth Stand for Tibet, and Tsudim Gyatso, the Chinese liaison officer at the Office of Tibet. They discussed the trajectory of China's democracy movement, its future prospects, as well as Tibetan-Chinese relations and collaborative efforts with the participating local Chinese and Tibetan youth. The 16th Kashag of the Central Tibetan Administration convened the 7th Permanent Strategy Committee meeting at the Administrative Training Center on Dharamsala on Wednesday this week. The three-day meeting is chaired by Sigom Pemba Tsiring and attended by all the committee members, including Kalyan Geridoma of Department of Security, Kalyan Nonzidoma of the Department of Information and International Relations, Temba Tsiring, former envoy of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, Gyaltsang Gyaltsen, Secretary of the Gandhe Potang Office, Ngapat Segyam, and the committee's members, Political Secretary Teshi Gyatso of the Kashag Secretariat, Secretary Kama Rinche of the Department of Security, Secretary Kama Chuing of the Department of Information and International Relations, and Secretary Dawa Tsiring of Tibet Policy Institute. On Saturday last week, Secretary of the Office of Tibet, Brussels, Tile Wangdu, along with Melanie Blondel, representing the International Campaign for Tibet in Europe, attended the 8th founding anniversary of the Regional U-Tsang Association of Belgium in Antwerp. During the celebration, Tile Wangdu lauded the Regional U-Tsang Association of Belgium for its dedicated support and cooperation with the initiatives and campaigns of the Office of Tibet. On Friday last week, the All-Party Indian Parliamentary Forum for Tibet convened a meeting at Samvidhan Sadan, New Delhi, to discuss and reinforce parliamentary advocacy for Tibet. The meeting was chaired by Shri Bhadruhari Mehtab, Member of Parliament and convener of API-PFT, co-chaired by Shri Tapir Gao, Member of Parliament and co-convener of the API-PFT, and attended by other esteemed members of the Parliament. The meeting featured discussions on strengthening parliamentary engagement and ensuring sustained awareness of the Tibet issue at the state, national and international levels. The discussion centered on the strategic initiatives needed to keep Tibet's cause relevant and to enhance diplomatic and political support for the Tibetan movement, underscoring India's continued solidarity with the Tibetan cause and the unwavering commitment of Indian lawmakers towards justice and human rights in Tibet. That is all for this week's news edition. See you next week.